Good afternoon once again here at RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez, looking live at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. At 4 o'clock today, President Trump will sign an executive order expanding on a presidential sports council. So we're told that professional athletes, both past and present, will be in attendance. So we're looking forward to that. In the meantime, let's bring on a guest that's been on the show before, conservative cartoonist AF Branco. Sir, thanks again for joining us on Right Side.
Hey, Matthew, how are you?
I'm great. How's everything going?
Fantastic.
I checked out some of your guys' show on Wednesday nights, right?
Wednesday nights, we just throw together a little podcast. It's not a lot of tech. We're not tech guys or anything like that, but we have a fan base that comes on, and some friends that get in on the chat, and we just show the cartoons throughout the week, show a few videos, few bad jokes, and I do it with Joe Dan Gorman from Intellectual Frog Legs. So
that's awesome.
We have some fun.
That's awesome. And you've been, producing these conservative cartoons for years. This one here that we're looking at the first one actually, the What Evidence one, where the Democrat donkey's underwater. The bank records, Hunter laptop, and the media with the badge there. Tell us about your thoughts on that one.
Well, the evidence just seems to keep pouring out. Tulsi Gabbard is just releasing a lot of documents. They've found documents that were ready to be burned over at FBI that Comey had slated to have taken care of, and they found those. Excuse me. And there's just, every day there's some new stuff that's being revealed. And to me, it's overwhelming. We just hope that something comes of it. We've had our hopes high that this prior regime, is corrupt and should be dealt with legally. It's not it's retribution, but in a sense, it's judgment. We can't allow this to ever happen again, because if it does, they'll just do it again. And we need to root out this evil that's in our government so that we don't have to deal with legal problems and lawfare and that. And I don't know if we'll ever get rid of it, but we definitely need to give it a good stab.
It's so true. I mean, that's what people are saying. We're seeing that, we'd love the 20 core promises to the American people. We'd also love to see our country be fully saved and rescued by investigations and prosecutions for those that have broken the law. There's evidence, there's receipts out there, there's a lot going on. But for our future, I mean, think about it. What if, somehow the left wins the next presidency, then they're going to go super extreme left.
Oh, yeah.
But if we have the people that have broken the law taken care of behind bars, well, who's going to really try and do the deep state puppetry?
They need to think about it the next time they do something like this, because this is running deep. All the lawfare, everything that they put against Trump is just what seemed to be insurmountable, but he was able to rise above the ashes and take care of it and be where he is today. And I believe that had a lot to do with God and the spiritual. I think he intervened that day on the 13th of July when he was shot.
I agree with you on that.
And this is the reason.
To really save and rescue this country, not only for the next 3.5 years, but to really cement and lock in the reforms, as T.S. Dixon said on an earlier broadcast. He'll be joining us for a few minutes in a minute. The next cartoon we're looking at, it says the DNI treason camp. Some say seditious conspiracy as well, but we see Hillary and Barack and others on there. You're not afraid to go there. You're going there, sir.
No, I am not afraid to go there, and a lot of us need to speak out stronger, more with more fire, more direct contact with this, and not beat around the bush, because they don't. They are they're after it, and they're going to be after it if they ever win again. And this particular cartoon was taken from the kiss cam at that concert where the CEO and
That's
his
great.
mistress got caught. And so that gave me the idea that because of all the evidence that's coming out, I think they are caught this time. Um, and what we do with it, people are very reluctant to get their hopes up, and I'm sure you felt this, to see any kind of judgment passed down on this kind of corruption.
Exactly. I mean, it's simply holding people accountable. It's just, justice is part of the American way. And if we let it slide, or if we just say things about it but don't do anything about it, then you're right. Then that deep state globalist junk will continue to try and rot our freedoms away. Let's look at the next cartoon. Tulsi Gabbard, DNI, pouring the trash can over, this is all evidence all over Barack Obama, I guess that is there, and he's holding up the shield saying media. That's a good one.
Yeah, it just gets back to how much is coming out on this. And we can't let up because the deep state is not going to go away. I just heard the other day that Brennan is still operating underneath it all. He's still in contact with a lot of people that are in the deep state, the CIA. How true that is, I don't know, but I wouldn't put it past him. I know he's lost his classified clearance, but we have to be vigilant on this. And I'm only hoping that Trump does so well, and that he can, when we go into the next presidential election, and we go into actually this recent election with Congress, that we can hold on to majority, and that Trump can pass the baton on to another like J.D. Vance, to where he can continue this, because this is not going to just be taken care of in 4 years. It's going to take a lot of time and energy to root this out and to punish those that are guilty, so that when anybody even thinks about doing it again, they'll think twice.
Yeah, I think the thing is that we haven't experienced yet what maybe the UK, what Brazil, what Venezuela, what China, what parts of California have dealt with when it comes to all of the censorship. I know we've dealt with some stuff here, we get it, but it hasn't been to the extent of like a Lula down in Brazil, or Venezuela, or in China. I know we haven't dealt with that, but it's slowly going to go there if we don't take care of business. Sure, we want the border to be secure, and we want inflation down, and we want jobs, and we want our freedoms and the Constitution and all of that. But this is a drum that's being beaten a lot now. It seems that we saw that President Trump and Tulsi Gabbard and others are saying, okay, Russia, Russia, Russia. Well, now we're going to go after that. There's many other crimes too. So this is a very real thing for the future of our country, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think what Kash Patel and Bondi and Trump are, and the way they're thinking about this, is they just can't rush in like the Democrats did and just throw a bunch of lawfare around. They're being very methodical about this, and which is good. I know we're impatient. We want to see arrests, but you just can't start throwing arrest and prosecutions around without solid. They're dotting the I's and crossing the T's right now, and I know we're impatient, but let's let it work out, see where it goes.
That's a great point.
A lot of evidence there.
That's a great point. It's the receipts and the evidence, and we heard from Tulsi Gabbard about that when it comes to the Russia, Russia, Russia hoax, and we've seen a lot of other evidence and receipts just throughout media and throughout what we've seen over the years. It's a great point about the impatience, because I think the main thing, and I want to ask you this before we let you go, is the lifting of the burden of that concern of a weaponized government against the people. Again, the people in China, they just already, they don't say anything against the state. They do what they have to do. And if they do say something against the state, it's not good. Same thing in other countries. We haven't dealt with it to that extent yet, but I think that we just want to get back to that mountain of freedom, don't we? Like, won't it feel good to know, hey, the good guys are winning, the hero of the day is winning, and the bad guys, just like in the movies that have committed crimes, are being seen taken away in a police car, right?
Absolutely. We came this close to having Kamala. I mean, talking about Trump's era, we came this close to losing it all. And if Kamala would have been put in there, we would be fastly moving towards China. They arrested a guy for producing a meme, a silly meme, and they put him in jail. That is where we were going, and I think he's been vindicated now. But that's the type of government that these people want. They say it's because they're for the children or they're for the little guy, but they're for themselves. They're for their own power, and everything else be damned.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about for the people that want to control the rest of the people. That's the small group trying to, control all of us. What are your thoughts about, did you see Cory Booker going wild on the Senate floor the other day?
He's a joke. What I saw was desperation, total desperation. They're losing everything. They have doubled down on stupid so many times. They're always on the 20 side of a 2080 issue. And I hope they keep it up. I hope they keep wanting men and women's sports in little girls' locker rooms. And I hope they keep wanting open borders, because none of the things that they keep doubling down on are things that the majority of the people don't want. They want common sense. And I don't even think a lot of people look at more and more people, even Bill Maher is coming around a little bit. Some of the others are starting to go, this inflation, they said that the economy was just going to fall in the tank, and the tariffs were going to destroy us. And now they're starting to see a different picture. And the more they see that picture, I think the more people will start flowing our way with Trump. And it'll be a better day. Now, the Fed is the only thing it seems like is trying to stop Trump from having a great economy.
Yeah, it's a great point. The interest rate's still being unchanged, even though inflation now at 2%. So we'll see what happens there. Last point about Cory Booker. What I'm wondering is, was the mask taken off there? Because you saw his eyes, you saw his teeth, you saw his anger and his hate that he was speaking, and how he was speaking. And I wonder how many people that are extreme on the left feel the same way he does and want to release that anger in that way. Remember, this is not a loving party. This is a party that wants to control the masses and just benefit themselves, to your point. So do you think that's what it was? He just was really taking the mask off because he's got, what else is he going to do? Just call everybody names, the Republicans and Trump and everybody, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They're desperate, and their people more and more are being defined down to radical leftism. So he's trying to feed that anger. A lot of the anger you see in the streets is being fed by people like Schumer and Crockett and AOC, because that's their troops. Those are their troops that they depend on to be radical and try to get a point across. I don't think it's working. It isn't going their way, but I do think Cory Booker is in that realm.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see it here in our country, but hopefully we continue to win. That's the name of the game. AF Branco, conservative cartoonist. Thanks again for spending time with us, showing us some of the cartoons. Where can people go and check out your work?
Comicallyincorrect.com.
Awesome.
And I'm on Twitter, AF Branco on Twitter and Truth Social.
We can't forget about Truth Social. You have about almost 250,000 followers just on Truth alone, so it's pretty awesome to see that. So thanks again for spending some time with us.
Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it.
Definitely. All right, so 3:45 Thursday, July 31st. Great to hear from AF Branco, of course, here on the network as we are monitoring a live feed to the White House. I believe this is going to be in the Roosevelt Room, according to the White House public schedule. Let's do this. Let's take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back here on Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network. your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat live show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
Welcome back to Right Side Broadcasting Network. It is 3:47 as we get ready to see President Trump from the White House. In the meantime, let's go to a couple sponsors before we bring in our next live guest. Medical freedom starts with access, and that's exactly what All Family Pharmacy delivers. They're changing the way people get their medications. So no insurance, no red tape, just fast, reliable care shipped straight to your door, because getting the treatments you need shouldn't be complicated. So All Family Pharmacy makes it simple in just 3 easy steps. Number 1, select the medications you need online right there at allfamilypharmacy.com. Number 2 is a licensed doctor reviews your order and writes the prescription. Number 3, your medications are shipped directly to your door. They carry the essentials like NAD+ and methylene blue, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, antibiotics, and more than 200 more medications. And yes, every order includes the doctor's prescription. So you can take control of your health with a pharmacy that actually works for you. So that's allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Let's go now to angelpaste.com out of Spring, Texas. You have the flagship product right there. There's a number of other products on angelpaste.com. Use the RSBN promo code. You'll get some great savings there, great gift idea, and also this company, they hire military veterans. It's a great patriotic company, a longtime sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting Network. And let's also go to Tax Network USA, 800-357-1415. If you're looking to settle some back taxes, you can do so through Tax Network USA. Settle your back taxes today by going to tnusa.com/RSBN. All right, so we're about 11 minutes away from that live feed to the president there in the Roosevelt Room. This is all about specifically at 4 o'clock signing an executive order expanding on a presidential sports council. We're told that professional athletes, both past and present, will be in attendance. And now, joining us live is the host of the Just Listen to Yourself podcast. She's also an author and commentator, and also wrote a great article in the New York Post titled, "Sydney Sweeney Tantrum is All About the Left's Rage at America's Rejection." Kira Davis joins us now live. Thank you so much for joining us. Kira, talk to us about that article. I saw it the other day, and it was really good. It was a really good article.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I think we're like a week out from this campaign ad dropping, and we are still talking about this.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit more than it's just a beautiful woman in a hot pair of jeans, right? Well, as I sat and I just was listening to all of the back and forth about, Nazism and eugenics and hot girls, the thing that really struck me was that I felt like the left wasn't really protesting Sydney Sweeney. They don't care about eugenics. They don't even know what eugenics is. Like, they don't ask any leftists to define it. They don't even know what it is. What it is the same thing that has been infecting the progressive left and the Democrat Party since last November. It is rage against Americans. It's rage against the American electorate. They are still angry about what we did last November. Last November was a turn back. Gen X had to come out. We had to turn this car around. We had to turn things around, and we've been the victims, the hostages, if you will, of this body positive movement for years now, including what we were told about Joe Biden. Don't believe your lying eyes. Joe Biden is fine, and this obese man pretending to be a woman looks sexy in this pair of jeans. And so what you saw with the Sydney Sweeney ad, I believe, is a snapback. It's people going, oh, it feels good to feel good again. It feels good to like attractive people with no politics involved, just attractive people. And that's what the left is railing against. They are angry that we have rejected their standards from beauty to politics. And it's just a tantrum as far as I'm concerned.
Kira Davis right now, of course, she wrote the article in the New York Post. You can check it there. Specifically from that article, it's going to echo pretty much what you just said. I took out one excerpt from it, and it says, you wrote, I believe the overheated uproar over Sweeney's ad is about more than just racism or envy. It's about Donald Trump, or more precisely, about the sharp right turn the American people took last November. We are witnessing the desperate tantrums of a progressive left that is struggling to accept the verdict of the electorate. I mean, it's exactly what you just said. You wrote it in the article. Tell us about you. When did you, start getting into politics? Give us a little bit of the background.
Well, I am an old school liberal, a sort of default Black Democrat my whole life. And then when I married in the early 2000s, I moved to Gary, Indiana. And I got the chance to work in the community I served in education. And I had the chance to see how all the policies I supported my whole life actually worked. And I realized they don't. And it started a conservative journey for me and brought me to blogging as the internet opened up. And then I've had a career in blogging and podcasting now for the past 15 years, previously worked for Reinstate. And now you can see my bylines all over, just like the New York Post. But really what I do is I like to think of, I'm not the smartest person, I'm not giving new ideas, but I like to think of myself as someone who can distill ideas for people, because a lot of heady conversations go on in politics. And we've had a lot of elitists running things for the last few years that tell us we're too dumb to understand things. We're too dumb to understand the nuances of this issue. You're too dumb to even understand why you're voting for Donald Trump. And that's why that's the way they've been treating us. And so I like for people to be armed with information, but I don't want anyone to be pretentious about it. I think I can distill heady, big issues into bite-sized portions that people can take away with them and go, yeah, I do agree with that. I don't think we're thinking enough about the things we believe. That's why I think the Sydney Sweeney thing has been such a cultural revolution, a cultural bomb, because it's making us think about what we've had to deny ourselves for the last 5 years. The reality, it's a symbol of the reality that these people have been forcing us to ignore for the last 5 years. So that's what you're seeing here. That's what you're witnessing. And that's why I do what I do. The idea, I think more people are alike than not. And there's been an entire left-wing complex that has kept us from speaking to each other and sharing ideas with each other. And so that's what I try to do. I try to share ideas. Well,
and you do a great job of doing that. Again, you can check out Kira Davis's work on the New York Post right now, actually. This article titled Sydney Sweeney Tantrum is all about the left's rage at America's rejection. Let's dive into some media, since we both work in media. It seems as if the big megaphone on the mainstream media side is what tries to sway public opinion constantly. But the amount of people that are really supporting these extremist views are maybe this many compared to this many of the country.
No better example than when Trump won and he sent in Doge, and we Doged USAID. Okay, right? We saw all of those programs that were basically funneling our own tax dollars back into anti-American activities, anti-election activities, activities that were designed to suppress voting, suppress the American spirit, all of that. So we have, and then COVID hit. And so the information complex clamped down. They took, the global elitists took that opportunity to crush the spirit of liberty. And they were going to take it all the way if they could have. But during that time, we weren't allowed to see each other and even see our posts. Some of us were getting our social media canceled. And at the time I worked for Reinstate, and we were constantly having to take down stories that were verified, but that were flagged by the fact checkers. So they spent years convincing us, and our own money, years and billions of our own tax dollars to convince us, people like me and you, that we were the minority, that common sense was the minority, that everything had changed, that Trump was just an anomaly. And this is the reality. And so again, just to go back to that Sweeney thing, but everything that's going on in politics from November to this very day, as we await Trump's words at the White House, everything that's going on is the American people waking up and realizing, oh no, we've been lied to. We weren't alone this whole time. We weren't the minority. We were the majority, and our minority enemies seized control of the institutions and the funds to tell us a lie and sell us a lie. And a lot of us bought the lie, but guess what? Lid is off the pot now. And it's not going great for the left. And so we're seeing new tantrums every day.
And we are. And it's a great point that you said there. The institutions, of education or of media and name an institution really corrupted, even in the obviously government. And so that's what we're seeing happen is that swamp getting, taken away, hopefully fully. And that could be through investigations. You want to comment at all on the DNI investigation, FBI, DOJ into the Russia hoax, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's not going away. The left is hoping it's going away. That's why we're talking about Epstein. They didn't care about Epstein before 5 minutes ago. They're all on the list too. Of course they don't want the Epstein files released. If they're seizing on a moment that they're hoping is going to be a distraction. I think the Sydney Sweeney thing in part is that as well. But it's not going away. The Russia hoax thing is only getting deeper. It's not like Trump got elected, declassified some documents, and then we all go, oh, isn't politics ugly, and we're moving on. No. November was a sea change in how we do things, period. And Americans, I think, finally realized that when we took our foot off the gas, people took advantage of us, and we're done being taken advantage of. That's the one of the great things about the specter of Trump. He's sort of that wall that stands between you and chaos, and it's emboldening us. It's emboldening the rest of America. Again, another reason why the left can't do anything but throw tantrums and create violence and try to destroy and divide. They're losing, they're losers, and they're angry that the American people finally told them to stuff it because they thought that they had won. But guess what? The American spirit wasn't dead. We're not dead yet.
That's 100% right. And if you're just joining us now, this is Kira Davis, of course, a commentator, author, podcaster, just had an article in the New York Post as well. And Kira, let's talk about something I brought up with AF Branco just a minute ago, the political cartoonist, the conservative. I said, did you see Cory Booker the other day on the Senate floor? Your thoughts about Cory's delivery there?
Listen, I was talking about him on another show earlier, and it's just indicative of everything that is wrong with the Democrat Party and how they're viewing everything. Here's the thing. They can't create, right? They can only imitate or invert, but they don't have any creative impulses. They've driven that all out of the party. They've driven it out of American culture, as far as I'm concerned. They don't have creative impulses. So they look at Trump's win, and Gavin Newsom is doing that here in California as well. They look at Trump's win and they go, well, what worked for him? And they see him because they're also dumb. So they don't understand the appeal of Trump. They think that people like him because he's a strong man or because he yells a lot. Of course, I've never heard Donald Trump yell, but in their minds, he yells. So that's what they do. They yell. In their minds, he cusses. He doesn't cuss a lot, sometimes, but not a lot. So that's what they do. In their minds, he's a man's man, and the Rogan crowd loved him. So they got to go find men, and that's why you hire an obese 30-year-old woman to lead your male outreach team. Like, the Booker thing is just indicative of the whole problem, which is that they don't understand the electorate. They don't understand men because they have spent the last 50 years driving men out of their party and driving the male sensibilities out of every other aspect of our society. We have feminized politics. We have feminized law enforcement. Don't get me started on the Cincinnati police chief. We have feminized the education system. And the results are disastrous. And so now they can't figure out why men don't want anything to do with Democrats. So now they're trying to act like men, except they don't know how to be men because they gave up their masculinity years ago. So all they can do is put on dad's shirt and big coat and tie and go out there in his oversized shoes and try to act like men. But they don't know what men are. They don't know what the American electorate wants. We rejected it soundly and roundly in November, and they're still running as though they're the fighters for democracy. We rejected you. Goodbye.
This is Kira Davis, everybody. Where can people follow you? I'm not done talking to you, by the way. I just want to know where people can follow you.
You can go to Twitter. That's the best place. At Real Kira Davis. It's Kira. And yeah, all my links are in my bio, and I chat a lot on there all day.
That's awesome. I mean, you're just, I can almost see what it's like with the American people right now that are watching this broadcast, or maybe they're watching on replay and they're doing this and they're saying USA. I mean, you're mic dropping left and right. And have you been able to go on any liberal outlet ever and do what you're doing right now?
It's so funny you say this because I stopped getting liberal invites quite a long time ago, but occasionally still I do. And the last liberal outlet, they don't claim to be a liberal outlet, but the last liberal outlet I was on was PBS. And I was on their news hour. I can't remember what, it's a chick program. It's like Ladies in Politics or whatever. So it was all women, and I was the token conservative on this panel, and the trans issue came up. And I refused to acquiesce the language on it, right? I refused to pretend that boys could be girls. And then when they brought it up, I said, well, boys can't be girls, or vice versa. And we had an argument about it. They were shocked. These were older women. These older women who were older than me. They should know better. And yet I'm saying, no, boys can't be girls. And they're going, well, yes, they can. And that's their argument. So I've not been invited back to PBS since that that simple declaration of biology.
If you continue to mic drop like you just did over the past 5 minutes, and if anybody on the left is watching this, you're not getting an invite from them, and that's a good thing. Come on to the right side of history. There's plenty of conservative media. And again, what is it like for you to have an article in the New York Post like you did about Sydney Sweetie? That's where I saw the article. That's how I was able to reach out to you. But that's pretty awesome.
It's so fun. Yeah, it is really fun. I think one of the best parts of this job is getting to speak to people. So when more people see your work, your thoughts, it feels good. It feels, I'm not a politician, although I have run for office. I ran for my school board here in California a couple of years ago and failed. Surprise, surprise. But I'm not a politician. I'm not a scientist. I don't add a whole lot to society, but I am a communicator. And I feel very strongly that I say things that a lot of people wish they could say out loud, or don't say out loud because they don't know how to frame it. They don't know how to bring the thoughts together. When I was just becoming a conservative, the most influential broadcaster was Rush Limbaugh. When I started tuning into him, my father-in-law was the first black man I ever met who called himself a Republican, and he listened to Rush every day. And I would listen to Rush, and he was the first person who I ever heard say things that made me think, I think that, but I've just never been able to express it. And so that's how I feel the work I do. So when I get to do something in the New York Post and then I get to have a response like this where people go, yeah, you said what I was thinking, I think that's one of the greatest honors.
Yeah, it's awesome. And Rush Limbaugh, we talk about Rush a lot here at Right Side. And for you to be able to have an impact on people with this awareness, with these stories that you're doing, it's quite awesome. Any words of advice for anybody out there that's in media right now that maybe they're working at a left-wing station, a local station across the country, but they're a right-winger at heart? There are some of them out there, including myself. I used to do the mainstream thing, but I was, I could never talk about, Jesus, Trump, freedom, the Constitution, MAGA, or they would have been like, what the heck are you doing? But thank God for conservative media. Anyway, your encouragement or advice for anybody like that?
5 years ago, I would have told you to keep yourself quiet, keep your head down and do your job, because it's not worth losing your job. And people, you probably already know this, people in the industry. I mean, I'm in Southern California, so I work in and around the entertainment industry too. And it's the same thing, I don't know. I think we're in a different time. I think the clock has changed. I think we are in a different time, and I think we are in the year of our Lord 2025 in a time when people need to be bold. So I think now is the time. I don't think you're ever going to have a better chance to be bold about what you believe. Listen to this. The left has spent the last 5 years making sure that we couldn't be comfortable speaking out, that we would be punished for it. So if you allow that to happen, they're winning. It's all they have to win because they don't have the numbers, as we've been talking about. You know, we're the majority, not them. Common sense is the majority. The love for America is the majority, not them. So, and here's the other thing. When you speak up, you'll be shocked at how many other people are of like mind around you, because as we saw with President Trump, it just takes one brave person to stand up to make a lot of other people brave. So, you know, if you have the temerity to be brave, then do it. But also, you don't know when your words are going to sit in someone's heart. They're going to carry that with them and think about it when it matters. You're not going to ever change anyone's mind on the spot. But if you're living rightly, you know, then I think people will take you seriously when they hear you, and you'll give them food for thought. This is not just a mission about how we pay our bills week to week. We're on a mission to save America.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. When you're speaking the information out there on the right side of history, as Alex Jones and the gang has, it's called InfoWars. It is an information war because that information is either going to sway public opinion to one thing or sway it to the other. You'll never know what's true or not if you have all of these so-called gatekeepers that are on the wrong side of history, which is what we've seen. What percentage do you think of mainstream media is on the left wing or mainstream? What percentage out of all media?
99.5%. I'm only giving 0.5% for like the other conservative mainstreamers like a Fox. But I mean, really, let's be real. This is the reason why you and I are talking right now, right? Because new media had to spring up and we had to go make our own avenues of information. But I think this is, if you break it down, I think this is what undergirds every conversation we have and how we started this conversation, which is what the left is railing against is Americans deciding for themselves what they like and what they want. Kamala Harris's entire campaign was, you don't know what you want. Oh, you don't see that this decimal point moved over and now the economy is better. You know, that was their whole campaign. We're not supposed to want what we want, and we're not supposed to be active for what we want. Only they are. So that's what's shifting here, from how we see beauty to how we treat our politicians to how we get our information. We're no longer watching cable TV anymore as a unit. Today, by the way, today is the anniversary of Donkey Kong. On this day in 1981, the arcade game Donkey Kong was released to American arcades and changed the face of the gaming industry. You're nodding your head when I say that because Donkey Kong is a cultural touch point. It is a common cultural touch point that we all can understand, anyone who was alive at that time and even to this day. We don't have those same cultural touch points anymore. That is dying out because our media is so fractured. So the downside of that is that we can't consolidate our information and make big pushes to change public opinion. But what the left doesn't like about it also is that we get to erect our own avenues of information sharing and erect our own points of commonality. They want to be in control of what we consider common sense. And Americans, again, in November, we said, no. We get to decide what common sense is. We get to decide what Americans want, not you guys who are medicated out of your minds and think that boys can be girls. That's crazy. We don't want you leading the country.
We don't want you leading the country, exactly. And they can't control what we think and what we say, because that's anti the United States of America. Unfortunately, other countries are controlling what the people think, say, type on a keyboard, that kind of thing. I said keyboard. How many people are typing on keyboards anymore?
I know.
Well, you got me thinking about the Donkey Kong thing, because 1981, I was born in that year. So I wonder when the arcade came out. But anyway, the game. But to your point, though, like true conservative media, I think it comes from grassroots. It's everyday America. It's the people that say, you know what, these guys are not disconnected from reality. We are on the side of the people because we are people. We're not getting paid by some corporate lunatic company that is woke and against the people.
Right. And, I did an interview with Jennifer Say, who is the owner of the XXXY athletics brand that's popped up, but she used to be the CEO at Levi's or VP of marketing, and she was on her way to be the first female CEO of Levi's, and then she got canceled. San Francisco liberal, got canceled because she wanted her kids to go back to school during COVID, and then that totally red pilled her. But I had her on my podcast a couple years ago now, and I asked her, look, what's going on with all corporate America and all the stuff they're shoving down our throats? We used to think of corporate America as like the suit and tie, the button up types. They were all stodgy and stingy and nerdy. And she said, you're not talking about corporate America. She said, CEOs don't run corporate America anymore. HR departments run corporate America. So all of the woke stuff that we've been assaulted with in our advertising and our media stories, it's human resources. We're being ruled by human resources departments, and they have such power, especially in a state like California. I mean, here in California, human resources can sink your business in the snap of a finger. We're losing companies left and right because it is just such a difficult environment to be in. So, corporations they gave over control to the human resources cult for whatever reasons. I don't know, but they're going to have to wrestle it back if the American people are going to continue our consumer relationship with the big corporations. I think the American Eagle ad shows us that they're willing to shift back. And I don't know if you noticed Target or Walmart's or other organizations over the month of June, but Pride celebrations kind of just disappeared from marketing materials. So I'm seeing that shift, but it's definitely a cultural battle that is controlled by the DEI crowd. The DEI crowd got themselves elevated to positions of authority. So we're going to have to start purging those people.
Go woke, you go broke. It's still the name of the game. Thank you so much, Kira Davis, for joining us. The host of the Just Listen to Yourself podcast, author and commentator, and also wrote that great article in the New York Post. Check it out. Sydney Sweeney Tantrum is all about the left's rage at America's rejection. Kira, thank you again for joining us. My pleasure. It was awesome to have Kira on the show. That's the first time she's been on the broadcast. I don't think the last. That was fun. All right, so 4/13, Thursday, July 31st. Looking forward to seeing President Trump there at the Roosevelt Room. Usually he holds these events at the East Room, but this one here in the Roosevelt Room. So he'll be signing an executive order specifically about expanding on a presidential sports council. So in that room will not only be the President of the United States, but past and present professional athletes will be right in there. So it'll be great to hear President Trump talk about the executive order for the reinstatement of the presidential fitness test. All right, let's go to a few of our sponsors, including All Family Pharmacy. Medical freedom starts with access, and that's exactly what All Family Pharmacy delivers. They're changing the way people get their medications. No insurance, no red tape, just fast, reliable care shipped straight to your door, because getting the treatments you need shouldn't be complicated. So All Family Pharmacy has this simple 1, 2, 3 easy steps to get everything taken care of. The first step is to select the medications that you need online. So allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Then from there, a licensed doctor reviews your order and writes the prescription. And the third and final step, your medications are shipped directly to your door. So they carry the essentials like NAD+, methylene blue, ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, antibiotics, and more than 200 more medications. And every order includes the doctor's prescription. So you can take control of your health with a pharmacy that actually works for you. Allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN is the way to get RSBN 10 to 10% off there. Let's also go to mypillow.com/RSBN. More than 2,000 great products for sale on that great website. A lot of great products there. My family and I have about 8 to 10 of the products. We probably need a few more. We have one set of the Giza Dream Sheets, and it's always good to have more of those. They're really comfortable. But anyway, you can get free shipping, mypillow.com/RSBN, mypillow.com/RSBN. Speaking of Right Side Broadcasting Network. Of course, your source for conservative news and President Trump's 47th presidency. Also, just really having a good time with all the interviews that you guys have seen. I mean, you've seen a lot here just today if you didn't watch the previous broadcast with a number of people that joined us live. But if you'd like to donate to the network as we continue to grow and expand and cover conservative news, you can do so by texting what you see there on the screen, RSBN to 801-801 or rsbnetwork.com/donate. You can also, if you like, to mail cash or a check. People have emailed and said, hey, we want that too. 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama 36830. All right, so 16 minutes after 4 o'clock, the president, as soon as he walks through that door at the Roosevelt Room, will take you there live. In the meantime, let's go over a few of the top stories that we're looking at here at this hour. We're monitoring any new developments from Senator Chuck Grassley's office as he is making his rounds in the media, speaking about declassified documents from the Durham report being released. Simply put, the evidence and receipts from James Comey's FBI back in 2016 and the FBI's alleged cover-up and assistance with Obama, Clinton, and others to subvert the will of the American people and to stop Trump, aka things like seditious conspiracy. We heard a lot about this from Tulsi Gabbard last week at the White House at that press conference. We're also monitoring any new developments when it comes to the DOJ regarding the Epstein case. So as we get information, as we see it, we'll bring it here to you. Other than that, a lot of news going on outside of even those two big stories. Of course, President Trump to speak here any minute from now. Looking forward to seeing the president. Let's go to a commercial break. When we come back, we'll look at a number of President Trump's Truth Social posts as we await the president. You're watching RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez here on this Thursday, July 31st.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat live show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you.
Nice to see you. How are you? We have a lot of athletic talent and great people behind me. And they're going to do some very important things for our country. Nobody knows LT, right? LT, greatest ever. Lawrence Taylor. You look good. You could play right now, I think, LT. You only look that way. Well, I'm delighted to be here with some of the truly great sports legends of all time as we formally announce the newest members of the President's Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition. This is an important step in our mission to make America healthy again. It's something that's very important, what we're doing, very important. Dating back to the administration of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, this council has championed the vigor and strength and vitality of the American people. Today, we continue that very proud tradition. This group is led by two-time major champion and one of the greatest players in the world, one of the highest ranked, and he just had a phenomenal Open Championship, as you probably saw, shooting one round that wasn't so good, and then he came back with about a 65 or something. He was getting a birdie on every hole. They were worried he might not make the cut, and he made the cut by about 200 strokes. It was pretty amazing, and he had a great week, actually. And he's also the longest hitter of a golf ball, I think ever, but, you know, they say ever. I would say ever. And the longest in the world today, and it's Bryson DeChambeau. He's a great guy, been my friend for a long time. And from his storied amateur career, where he won the U.S. Amateur, I think once or twice. Did you win it?
It was once, and then the
Once?
NCAAs as well.
Okay, you won a lot of other championships, but U.S. Amateur champion. And then, as you know, he won at Winged Foot, won the U.S. Open in Pinehurst. And Bryson has always been a phenomenal ambassador to sports and to golf, but generally to life, in my opinion. He's a smart guy and a good guy, great guy, loves our country. We're also pleased to be joined by Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. Bobby, you do a great job. He's got some big things happening, and he's got some big statements to be made very shortly in terms of, over the next few months, in terms of what they've been doing and finding answers to some very, very important questions. Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, who's phenomenal, wherever you may be, Linda. Hi, Linda. What are you doing back there? And look, you've been reading about her exploits and the job that she's been doing, and we're very proud of her. Council Executive Director, Catherine Granito. Thank you very much. Thank you. Great job. And several other new members of the council, including J.D. is here, our fantastic vice president, and Scott Bessent, and we're making a lot of deals. We're making deals for trillions and trillions. Nobody's ever seen anything quite like it. We just made a couple of others a little while ago. I don't know if you'd be interested right now. I won't even bother telling you. This is about sports and about health. One of the best defensive players ever, I think probably acknowledged to be the greatest defensive player in the history of the NFL, a friend of mine for a long time. Too long, right, Lawrence? Lawrence Taylor, he's an incredible guy. And just been my friend a long time, haven't we? Huh? Knew him forever. One of the most accurate kickers in NFL history, a young guy still. He can kick it long. I think I guess he's considered the best there is in the business, Harrison Butker. So, Harrison, where are you, Harrison? He's a handsome guy, by the way. It's usually not my thing, but he is a good-looking sucker. One of the truly greatest golfers ever to play on the LPGA Tour. A lot of people say the greatest female player ever, and a lot of people would say just one of the best players ever. She's phenomenal. I've played a lot of golf with Annika Sorenstam, and she's amazing. Just had an really storied career. Hall of Famer, easily a Hall of Famer, by the way, right at the top of the list. So it's great to have you with us, Annika, and say hello to the family. And then she was here not so long ago with Gary Player, where she got the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and so did he. He's won 168 tournaments and 18 majors, 9-9, and she's the same in terms of the women's game. But that was a great time. It was a great honor to give it to you. You really deserved it. It's the highest medal you can get outside of the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's the military version, and the other is the Presidential Medal, and you got it. So thank you very much. 14-time WWE World Champion, and he's a man who you're not going to mess around with. Even Bryson said, I think I'll take a pass on him, right? You're going to take. And he's another one who's been my friend for a long time. He's really an amazing athlete. Triple H. Here he is. Oh, that's still very strong. He's a strong guy. And it's great to have you. And you felt very strongly about this, about the council.
100%.
Yep. Well, it's a great honor to have you. Offensive lineman, NFL, very respected, very smart. Cody Campbell. Thank you, Cody, very much. Thank you very much. In addition to the people here, we have other council members that want to just pay their respects. One of the greatest players and athletes ever. You could say, when you look at records, there's probably nothing like it. Tiger and Jack. This is Jack. Tiger was here not so long ago getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom also. He's a fantastic guy. And on the council, we have Jack Nicklaus, and he sends his regards. We have Gary Player, one of the greats. Nellie Corder, who's a phenomenal young, I think you'd say great young player. Annika, right? She's a fantastic person, too. NFL icons, Tony Romo, also a great football player. Quarterback, also a great golfer. Nick Bosa, who's, you know him, he's He's a modern-day version of Lawrence. What do you think? He's pretty good, right, Lawrence? Pretty good. He is. Saquon Barkley was on the council, and Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback, who is really he's been fantastic. He's been when he's not injured, he's great. He's got to stay healthy, but he's a great guy. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell is on the commission. NFL Commissioner Gary Bettman, and the great one Wayne Gretzky is on, and a man who also received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, Mariano Rivera. And when I looked at his record, it was unbelievable. The Sandman, my wife said, why do they keep playing the Sandman when he walks in? And I said, because he just puts the batter to sleep. He was great. When you look at his record compared to second, and Raleigh Fingers was great, and he was really great. But when you look at the record, boy, Mariano had a record. I've never seen anything like it. He was so high up. The order that I'll sign today in a few moments directs the council to develop strategies to improve America's physical fitness and renew the American spirit, excellence, competitiveness, and sportsmanship. To that end, I'm pleased to announce that we're officially restoring the Presidential Fitness Test and the Presidential Fitness Award, and it's going to be a very big thing. From the late 1950s until the 2013, graduate scholars all across our country competed against each other in the Presidential Fitness Test, and it was a big deal. This was a wonderful tradition, and we're bringing it back. I think Bryson and everybody here wanted to see if we could bring that back, and it's turned out to be very popular to do. My administration's also pressing forward with the important reforms in sports and athletics, and the group behind me and the others that I mentioned and others that I've asked to join. We have many great athletes I've asked to join the council, and we're going to let some of them come in. But they're going to also be working on college football in terms of what happened. It's a mess. What happened? It's what they're doing with college football, and the fans are upset about it. And players are being taken from team after team and being traded around like playing cards. And a lot of money's passing, and nobody knows what's happening. So these people behind me are going to be very much involved in figuring that whole thing out and working on it and trying to bring some sanity to that incredible, not only the football, college sports, very, very bad for women, very bad what's happening, because now all of a sudden there's no women that are able to get the money that they're talking about. You know, it seems to be going mostly to football, some basketball, and women's sports are being totally decimated. We know that, Annika, you know, with this. It's all going into football, and some to basketball, and everything else is being left behind. And women are being left behind, and lesser sports are being left behind, and the Olympics is being decimated because that was like training for the Olympics, and now we're not going to have that many of those sports left. The smaller sports, they're almost going to be completely wiped out. This is crazy what's going on. We banned men from competing in women's sports, and last week the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee announced that they will be complying with that order, so there won't be men playing in women's sports. That seemed like an easy one. They say it's an 80-20 issue during the campaign. I said, no, that's not 80-20. That's 97-3. Maybe it's 98-2, perhaps. And last Thursday, we terminated third-party pay-for-play schemes in collegiate athletics and effectively we saved college sports, but now we have to heal it, because it's really a mess. It's a real mess. This council will play an important role in shaping these new policies and ensuring that we preserve the American athletic tradition for many generations to come. And in the years ahead, we'll have the chance to showcase our nation's athletic dominance in the world stage as we host the America 250. So we have America 250, and we have, it's going to be incredible, the Patriot Games. But we have the Ryder Cup, we have the President's Cup, we have the 2026 FIFA World Cup. So we have the World Cup here, we have the 2028 Olympics. So when they cheated on the election and they picked somebody that wasn't supposed to be there, I was very upset before that because I got the Olympics and I got the World Cup. I was the one that did it. I can't say I got America 250. It just happened to be 200. I'd like to take credit for that, but I don't think I'll be able to. But we have a big thing coming up. But I was very upset because I got them, and it was skipped an election season. And so it took place in the next term after the term that we were supposed to have. And I was extremely angry. And then when I won, I said, wait a minute, I think I just picked up the Olympics and I just picked up the World Cup. So it worked out sort of cool. But I want to, again, thank everybody in the council. They want to work, too. These are people that really, we only do it by request. And people, they want to work and they want to make things better. And I hope they can make college sports better. They can heal it. They can find a solution. It's not going to be that easy. But you have a lot of smart people. So I'd like to begin by introducing Bryson to say a few words, and then we'll have Triple H, and we'll have a couple of other people say something, and then I'm going to sign that good-looking couple of pieces of paper, and it means a lot. It's going to be a very important council, and thank you all for being here. Bryson, please.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. And first off, I'd like to say thank you to President Trump and Vice President Vance for your support and this initiative and council. And to be honest, I never would have thought that this opportunity would have been here right at our doorstep. We have an opportunity at being the 70th anniversary of the President's Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition to literally change the fabric of kids' lives. And our first initiative is to bring back and reignite the President's Fitness Test, and then also reestablish some key other metrics on guidelines around building some communities, and also, again, with the President's initiatives around college, we think we can help in that regard too. But we've got a great established council with us that we believe we can change the fabric of our communities and kids' livelihoods for the future generations that are to come. I can't thank you guys enough, and looking forward to making massive changes in kids' lives and in our America's future. Thank you.
Thank you. Please.
First of all, I'd like to say the same. Thank you to President Trump. Thank you for this honor. I'm humbled by it. I'm truly honored to be on this. Vice President Vance, thank you very much. Secretary Kennedy, truly appreciate all that everybody is doing for the health and wellness of the entire country. For me, since I was 14, this has been such an important part of my life. Health, fitness, sports, nutrition, all of it. I think learning that at a young age sets you up for success in life. And without it, you're at a lesser place for it. So I look forward to the opportunity to do this. I look forward to the opportunity to help make our youth healthy, help get them engaged in sports, and let them learn what it takes to be successful in life. So thank you very much for the honor. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you. Bobby, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. In December of 1960, a month after he won the election, my uncle, who was about to be president, wrote an article for Sports Illustrated called "The Soft American," and he was lamenting the fact that America had prided itself on its beef jerky toughness, and that we were losing that. We were falling behind Europeans. We were falling behind other nations. And he was signaling with that article that he was going to make physical fitness of our kids the centerpiece of his administration. And I'm so grateful to President Trump for bringing back this tradition. I was talking to Paul before we went in here. We were part of the Council on Physical Fitness when we were kids. And you had to do sit-ups, you had to do pull-ups, you had to do shuttle runs, you had to do 1-mile runs. And they awarded the top 15% with a patch and with recognition and with certificates. And for me, it was a huge item of pride when I was growing up. And we need to reinstill that spirit of competition and that spirit and that commitment to nutrition and physical fitness. And I'm so grateful to President Trump for your leadership in bringing this back for our country.
Thank you very much. Honored, representing the great women in sports, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, Vice President Vance. This is truly an honor. I want to thank the team behind me here for giving us trust to be able to do this. Sport has always been part of my life, and the importance of living a healthy, active lifestyle cannot be any more important than nowadays. So thank you for the trust, and I can't wait to get to work to make a difference in kids' lives, but also in people's lives. I think the time is so important. Obesity is the highest it's ever been. Mental health, as we all know, the need ought to be tackled. So thank you for the trust, and look forward to going to work with the team behind me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Lawrence, you want to say a few words? Come on up. Come on. He's a little shy, but once he gets going, nobody can stop.
Oh, no, that don't stop. I'm just proud to be on this team. I don't know why. I don't know what we're supposed to be doing, but I'm here to serve, and I'm here to serve you. Okay, so I'm going to do the best I can for as long as I can. Thank you very much.
Nobody like him. Come on, young superstar.
Obviously very excited to be here. Thank you, Mr. President, for allowing me to serve on the council. Just excited to do my part to help make America healthy again, to help our youth be healthy and thrive and grow up and be great citizens of this country and be great family members and contribute to this great country. And I think you have to be strong in mind, in body, and soul. So thank you so much for allowing me to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. JD?
Okay, sure, sir. Well, thank you all, and thanks to the president for setting up this important commission. Thanks to all the great athletes for lending their credibility to it. I think all of us who have young kids at home just know that kids are healthier, they're happier, they do better when they're out there, they're being active, they're playing in sports, they're hanging out with their friends. I think all of us have thought at one point in the last few years that kids spend a little too much time on their phones, maybe a little bit too much time in front of the TV, and we just want kids to do better. We want them to be healthier, we want them to be happier, and we know that getting out there, playing in sports, and being active and healthy and physically fit is a critical part of this. So all due credit to the President and Secretary Kennedy's leadership. This is all about just making our kids better citizens, better people, and happier in their daily lives. And I think this is a great team to get it accomplished. Thank you, sir.
Okay, let's sign this. Linda, come on. We'll sign this for Linda. She's doing pretty well, right? Linda's amazing. Good job. Okay, we got it. I think we're good. Okay. We'll pass them around, please. Okay, here you go.
Thank you.
Okay. That is not signed with an auto pen. There's no auto pens. We don't want auto pens in the White House. Okay? Any questions, please? About I think probably.
Mr. President, what has sports meant to you? And did you have a sports hero growing up?
Maybe Lawrence Taylor. I don't know. It could be Lawrence. Or I know him so well. Well, a lot of sports heroes. It meant a lot. I was always a person that loved playing sports. I was good at sports. When you were really focused on sports, you thought about nothing else. There was nothing else outside. It kept you. And to an extent, this is one of the reasons I like golf. You get away for a couple of hours. I play quickly and get through it. And for 2 hours, you're not thinking about all of the nonsense and all of the important things, frankly, but it cleans your mind. No, I think sports is so important. I think what this council is doing is going to be very important. And it gives you a little exercise, sometimes a lot of exercise. It's a great thing. It's a great thing. Sports are, you learn about people and you learn about how people compete. Now, it doesn't mean that if somebody's not a good athlete, a lot of people just are not good athletes, so they can't compete. But you learn about people playing sports and playing sports with and against some. So I've always loved it. It's been very important to me. These people are, inspirations. These are the top people in their individual sports. The council itself, I mean, they have some of the greatest champions, for the most part, the greatest champions in their sport. So they really understand sports, and understanding it's very important. Thank you for the question. Yeah, please. Please, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. President, can you talk about your plans for the new ballroom that was announced today?
Yeah.
And the $200 million, that's going to be paid for by yourself as
By
well
me,
as
yeah.
private donations?
It's a private thing. I'll do it, and we'll probably have some donors or whatever, but it's about $200 million. So we've been planning it for a long time. They've wanted a ballroom at the White House for more than 150 years, but there's never been a president that was good at ballrooms. I'm really good. In fact, I looked at one that we just built in Turnberry in Scotland, and it's incredible. We're good at building. I'm good at building things, and we'll get it built quickly and on time. It'll be beautiful, top of the line. We've retained the best architects and engineers, everything else. It'll be built over on the east side, and it will be beautiful. It'll be views of the Washington Monument. It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it, and pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of. It's my favorite. It's my favorite place. I love it. But they've wanted it, and when they have big events, you entertain the president of China or the president of any place, and you have big crowds. They've always had to get a tent. And you've probably been to some of them, Bobby. When it rains, it's a disaster. And the tent's 100 yards. That's more than a football field away from the main entrance. And people are slopping down to the tent. It's not a pretty sight. The women with their lovely evening gowns, all of their hair all done, and they're a mess by the time they get. And they've always wanted to have it. And I said, in the first term, I said, if I get another shot at this, I'm going to do a ballroom. I was pretty busy in the first because I was running the country, and I was also fighting for survival with all of the lunatics I had to beat. But it worked out, obviously, it worked out very well because here we are. But I always said I was going to do something about the ballroom because they should have one. So we'll be leaving it. It'll be a great legacy project, and I think it'll be special. You saw some renderings of the initial. I think it'll be really beautiful.
No government dollars at all.
No government dollars, no.
It's an extremely busy week between this executive order, trade, Russia, Gaza, but also the family of Virginia Giuffre released a statement overnight in response to some of the comments that you made this week. You said that Jeffrey Epstein stole people from Mar-a-Lago. At the time, did you know why he was taking those young women, including Virginia?
No, I didn't know. I mean, I would figure it was ABC fake news that would ask that question, one of the worst. But no, I don't know really why. But I said if he's taking anybody from Mar-a-Lago, he's hiring or whatever he's doing. I didn't like it, and we threw him out. We said we don't want him, at the place. This is a story that's been known for many years, as you know. But it's I didn't like it that he was doing that. Yeah, please.
If Canada moves forward with Palestinian state,
say it again.
If Canada moves forward with recognizing the Palestinian state, is that a deal breaker for you?
Well, we're going to see. No, I didn't like what they said, but that's their opinion. I didn't like that. Not a deal breaker, but we haven't spoken to Canada today. He's called, and we'll see. But we have made a few deals today that are excellent deals for the country. We're taking in literally trillions of dollars for the country. This is making our country very rich and respected again. We have, I tell these people, and I say it as much as I have to say it, but every leader is at NATO, and I was in the Middle East with the three great countries, three great leaders, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and everybody said the same thing. All of the NATO countries, essentially, they said that we were a dead country. 1 year ago, we were a dead country. Now we're the hottest country in the world. Look at you people. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're doing great. Yeah, do you have a...
Canada currently. What's the holdup with the negotiations with Canada?
Well, they have to pay a fair rate. That's all. It's very simple. They have been charging very, very high tariffs to our farmers, some over 200%. And they've been treating our farmers very badly. They've been treating our country very badly for years. And look, we like Canada. I love Canada. I have so many friends in Canada, but they've been very poorly led. They've been very, very poorly led, and all we want is fairness for our country. That's all. They want to be under the, as we call it, the Golden Dome. And I said, well, you're going to have to pay for that. They want a lot of things from our country, and for years we did it. We basically protect them with our military. They spend very little money on their military, as you know, not an acceptable amount of money. Yeah, please.
Thanks a lot, Mr. President. Your tariffs policy goes into effect tomorrow.
Yeah.
As you know, a federal appellate court today heard oral arguments about whether or not you had the authority to unilaterally impose those tariffs. I'm not going to get you to weigh in on the legal arguments, but you're weighing your decision to do that, your authority to do that, based on a 1977 law. It's never been invoked before. Why didn't you invoke this law?
Well, we've been winning all along.
I just want to ask you, why didn't you invoke this law in your first term? You could have taken in billions upon billions of dollars in your first term, but you waited until your second term.
Yeah, because in my first term I was fighting lunatics like you who were trying to do things incorrectly and inappropriately to a president that was duly elected. And we did do certain tariffs in the first term. If you look at China, we took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. But when COVID came, the last thing I was going to do is tell France and Italy and Spain and a couple of other countries that we're going to hit you with tariffs. We had to fight the COVID situation when that came. But if you look at my first term, we took in hundreds of billions of dollars worth of tariffs, but you people didn't cover it very well. Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I'm representing the foreign poll today. I'm asking you two questions on foreign policy. The first one, do you plan to re-engage diplomatically with Iran, go with direct talks with them, or are you happy with the current situation, having no deal with Iran?
Well, Iran has been acting very badly. They were decimated. Their nuclear capability, that potential which could have happened within 3 or 4 weeks, was decimated. It's been obliterated. The Atomic Energy Commission said the place is just decimated. Now they can start again, but they'd start in different sites because they were hit. I tell you what, the job these pilots did with their B-2 bombers, those unbelievable machines, they traveled 36 hours without stop. And they hit every single target. Every bomb hit they went right down the chutes. And then, as you know, we shot 30 rockets from submarines that were hundreds of miles away, and they hit every target. So they can start again, but they haven't been saying the right thing. I will say Iran has not been saying the right thing. They have not been speaking nicely, and they should be. Yeah, please.
President Jerome Powell not lowering interest rates again. Many people say that he's playing politics with the futures of millions.
Well, he is. We call him Too Late. He's Too Late. It's his new nickname. It's Too Late Powell. He's a terrible Federal Reserve Chairman. Not only that, he's building a building. He's at $2.9 billion. It's actually 3.1 if you include other areas that are essentially the same thing. Way over budget, has no idea what he's doing. And I would say he's probably good at that compared to what he does with interest rates. But, you know, we have him there, and it was a mistake. I put him in, and then Biden extended him. And Biden only extended him because he knew I couldn't stand him. And that turned out to be not a good thing for Biden. Although he did lower interest rates just prior to the election. Didn't work out too well for them. But he did lower them pretty substantially just prior to the election. No, he's a political hack, not very good. He's not a smart guy, Brian.
Mr. President, sports fans have been very supportive. If you go back to the original names of Cleveland Indians, the Washington Redskins.
Oh, I love that. Love the sound of that.
Well,
I do the Washington Redskins. I think they should do it. I told the mayor and I told people that they should bring back the name. If they bring back the name, you'll have a lot of excitement. And, I mean, Cleveland Indians, how about that? That was an original franchise, 1903 or something, 1906, an original, the Cleveland Indians. And what do? They change the name from Indians. What's wrong with the word Indian? You know who is upset about it? The Indians are upset about it. They're upset about Redskins, too. So Redskins, I guess you'd say it was a little bit lesser of a case, but people want to see the Redskins, and the Indians want to see the Redskins back. No, I recommend it. I was asked that question the other day. The Washington Redskins, it's a fabled franchise. And now, I don't even know what the hell their last name is. What are they to Commanders or something? Is it Commanders? It's not a good name.
About President Biden, sir. About President Biden, sir. May I ask you a question?
Wait a minute. No, not you. You.
Mr. President, Kamala Harris, as you know, is not running for governor of California. She's not going to do it. What do you see in her political future, sir?
Well, she can't speak. She can't talk. She can't do an interview. I thought it was a very strange campaign that we had. But I had two of them. We were up by like this massive number of points on Biden, and they said, let's change to Kamala. Nobody knew who Kamala was. Nobody knew her last name, Harris. They said, we're going to get Vice President Harris. Everyone said, who the hell is Harris? They only knew her by the first name. But no, I thought she was a terrible candidate. Look, don't forget, she didn't really get the nomination. I mean, that whole nomination was strange. She was the first one out. She took a good amount of points with her when she announced, but nobody knew her. And once they got to know her, she dropped out very shortly after she started. And she started with a pretty good, she was like in second or third place. But I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't call her a skilled politician. Would you?
She's also coming out with a book. Any plans to buy it?
I don't know. I think I'm going to buy it. I'd love to see it. No. I'd find it. Look, I find everything in politics interesting. I sort of enjoy politics. She wasn't a skilled person. You have skilled politicians, really skilled politicians, and then you have some that aren't. And she was put in a very tough position, I think. She did have a 6-week honeymoon. They told me, the pros said, you know what, she's going to have a 6-week. And she did. She was like untouchable in terms of everybody thought great. But she didn't do any interviews or anything, which was strange. Not even friendly interviews with friendly reporters like her right there, a really friendly reporter. And you know what happened? People said, what's wrong with her? Why isn't she doing? She made a mistake. She should have done interviews. She didn't run a great campaign, but we beat Biden, and then we had to beat, nobody's beaten two. I had to beat two. That's like Dana White, the great Dana White has a fight, and he has a fighter that's getting the hell knocked out of him. They say, well, let's take him out and put somebody else in. Didn't seem fair to me at the time, but where are we? We're in the White House. So, I mean, so it worked out.
Minister, very serious question here. Russia today hit Kyiv with missiles and drones, more than 100 people, kids.
I think it's disgusting. Russia, I think it's disgusting what they're doing. I think it's disgusting. This is Biden's war. It's not my war. But I said if I get in, I'll try and get the thing stopped. But I think what Russia's doing is very sad. A lot of Russians are dying. You have a lot of Russians. More Russians are dying. But Russians are dying. Ukrainians are dying. The United States isn't really involved in that war. It shouldn't be. And by the way, I made a deal with NATO where NATO pays us for everything that we send. We send them ammunition, missiles, etc. And we're not paying anything for that war. But I will tell you this. It should be stopped. It's a disgrace. And the ones that are dying they're losing 7,000 now. It was 5,000. They're losing now 7,000 soldiers a week, Ukrainian soldiers and Russian soldiers. And they're also losing people now in the towns and cities because Putin's hitting them with rockets. No, I think it's disgraceful.
You have a 10-day deadline. You imposed a 10-day deadline.
Yeah, we have about 8,000. Yeah, we're going to put sanctions. I don't know that sanctions bother him. They know about sanctions. I know better than anybody about sanctions and tariffs and everything else. I don't know if that has any effect, but we're going to do it. Europe is extremely upset. But this is a war that should have never happened. This is a war that wouldn't have happened if I were president. And this is Biden's war. This was a stupid war to get into. Should have never gotten into this war.
Traveling to Israel.
Yeah, going to Israel, and then he's going to Russia, believe it or not.
Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene has said that what is occurring there is a genocide. Do you agree?
Oh, it's terrible what's occurring there, yeah. It's a terrible thing. People are very hungry. The United States gave $60 million for food, and it's a shame because nobody, I don't see the results of it. And we gave it to people that in theory are watching over it fairly closely. We wanted Israel to watch over it. Part of the problem is Hamas is taking the money and they're taking the food. But we gave $60 million a couple of weeks ago. Nobody said anything about it. Nobody said thank you. But I didn't need the thank you. I just wanted the people to get fed. And we're helping out financially with that situation. It's a terrible situation. So just to conclude, I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank you for being here. This is a great group of people, and it's a good feeling. When we first came to office, this country was really in trouble. And now we're rich as hell, and we're doing amazing things, and we really are. We're the hottest country in the world, and I like that. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
President, can I ask you about lighting up, Mr. President? Can I ask you about lighting up?
Commander-in-Chief fielding questions from the press after signing an executive order relating to sports, specifically regarding the presidential fitness test. And speaking of sports, since today is Throwback Thursday, that guy on the right side of your screen, yeah, that's me back in the day. Played for the Patriots and the Colonials. No, not the NFL team. The Patriots, of course not. I could throw pretty good. I could not run very fast at all. But anyway, Throwback Thursday, thought I'd show it to you there. The 40-yard dash, not good. Anyway, all right, so let's thank a few sponsors here. Thanks so much for streaming in with us. We covered a lot of serious topics throughout this broadcast and the previous broadcast earlier today. Nice to end on a light note for just a second, but we still know our country needs to be saved and rescued. Let's thank All Family Pharmacy for being a great sponsor here, allfamilypharmacy.com/RSBN. Also, Kalshi.com/RSBN, great sponsor. Thank you guys so much. Angel Paste out of Spring, Texas. Use that RSBN promo code. Tax Network USA, 800-357-1415. Also, mypillow.com/RSBN, free shipping. Always good to see that. Great sponsors here. Thank you guys, all sponsors, for being with Right Side Broadcasting Network. And those of you that do donate to Right Side, thank you so much for doing so. That'll wrap it up. It's 4:56 on the East Coast. I'm Matthew Alvarez. We'll see you again soon.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat live show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.